The massive Exhilarating ship descended through Earth's atmosphere on a clear spring morning in 2057. Its sleek, blue-tinted hull reflected sunlight as it carefully positioned itself above the designated landing zone outside the United Nations Interstellar Relations Complex in Geneva. Lieutenant Daniel Wright watched with wide eyes as the ship's landing mechanisms extended. After years of distant communication, humanity was finally meeting their first alien visitors face to face. Daniel straightened his uniform and checked his translator device one last time. "Nervous?" asked Ambassador Gloria Sanchez, her dark eyes calmly assessing the landing ship. "Trying not to be, Mom," Daniel replied. "But this is literally making history." The ship settled on the ground with barely a sound. For 30 seconds, nothing happened. Then, with a soft hiss, a doorway appeared in the smooth hull, and a ramp extended to touch the earth. The first exhilarating to emerge stood nearly 7 feet tall. Its blue-tinted exoskeleton gleamed in the sunlight, and its 4 arms moved with careful precision. Large compound eyes scanned the welcoming committee, while mandibles clicked softly. "Ambassador Zortek," Gloria said, stepping forward with a slight bow. "Welcome to Earth. I am Ambassador Gloria Sanchez, representing the United Nations." The alien's translator device hummed for a moment before Zortek responded in a voice that sounded almost musical. "The pleasure is ours, Ambassador Sanchez. We have waited many cycles to meet humans in person." 6 more exhilarating emerged from the ship, each carrying what appeared to be scientific equipment. Their movements were graceful and deliberate, reminding Daniel of giant praying mantises, though he knew better than to voice that comparison. Chief Science Officer Alan Hayes stepped forward next. "We have prepared living quarters and meeting facilities that we hope will meet your needs. Our scientists are eager to begin cultural exchange." The delegation was escorted through the complex, the aliens' compound eyes taking in every detail. Daniel noticed how they seemed especially interested in the gardens and plant life they passed. "Your vegetation is remarkably diverse," noted one Sendari that introduced itself as Milan. "We have studied your botanical databases, but seeing these life forms directly is quite different. Perhaps you would enjoy our botanical gardens after you've settled in," Alan suggested. "We've included several species from your provided preferences." As they reached the main building, Gloria smiled warmly. "We've organized a welcome reception for this evening. Lieutenant Wright and his team have prepared what we hope will be a memorable first meal together." Daniel nodded proudly. "We've worked with top chefs to create a banquet showcasing Earth's finest cuisine." Zortek's mandibles clicked in what the humans interpreted as pleasure. "Food rituals are an important cultural exchange. We look forward to learning more about humans through your sustenance practices." None of the humans noticed the subtle way the aliens' attention focused on Gloria's casual mention of meal. On their homeworld, communal eating involved gathering vegetation and sharing the harvest, a peaceful, cooperative activity that reinforced social bonds. As the aliens were shown to their quarters, Daniel hurried to check on the final arrangements for the evening's reception. The catering staff was putting final touches on the elaborate buffet, featuring delicacies from around the world. The centerpiece, a display of grilled salmon, tiger prawns, and perfectly aged beef steaks, was being arranged with artistic flair. "This will knock their socks off," Chef Kevin Morgan said with pride. "If they wear socks, that is." Daniel laughed. "Just make sure everything's perfect. This dinner sets the tone for humanity's first alien diplomatic relationship." Neither of them could have predicted how catastrophically wrong that prediction would prove to be. The reception hall gleamed under soft lighting. Humans in formal attire mingled nervously, stealing glances at the tall blue aliens who moved with careful grace among them. The Sendari delegation had changed into what appeared to be ceremonial coverings, shimmering fabric draped over their exoskeletons in complex patterns. Ambassador Gloria Sanchez clinked a spoon against her glass, bringing the room to attention. "Distinguished guests from Sendaria, honored representatives of Earth, tonight marks the beginning of friendship between our worlds." The Xendari clicked their mandibles, and what the humans had learned was a sign of approval. Zortek stepped forward, towering over Gloria. "We are grateful for your welcome and eager to learn of your ways," the alien's translator conveyed in a melodic tone. Chef Kevin Morgan, who had been anxiously watching from near the kitchen doors, nodded to the servers. 6 white-gloved attendants wheeled in carts bearing covered silver platters. "Before the main banquet, we'd like to present some of Earth's most prized delicacies," Gloria announced. She gestured to Kevin. The chef stepped forward, beaming with pride. "For our first offering, we present Pacific salmon with lemon herb butter." He lifted the silver dome with a flourish, revealing the perfectly grilled fish, its skin crispy and flesh pink and moist. A strange sound, like the rustling of dry leaves, came from the Xendari group. Their compound eyes widened, and their upper limbs drew close to their bodies. "Is everything all right?" Gloria asked, her smile faltering. Zortek's translator struggled, emitting static before producing words. "This creature, it is a hunter of smaller water beings." Kevin nodded enthusiastically. "Yes, salmon are predatory fish. They eat smaller fish and insects. Only the best for our guests." More rustling sounds came from the Xendari. One of the smaller aliens in the back began swaying slightly. Before Gloria could speak, a server removed another dome, revealing a platter of tiger prawns arranged around a spicy cocktail sauce. "And these," Kevin continued, "are some of our finest shellfish. They hunt and scavenge on the ocean floor." Zortek backed away from the table. The translator on its thorax emitted clicking sounds before producing English. "You consume hunters deliberately." Gloria looked confused. "Well, yes. Many Earth delicacies are predatory species. Is there a problem?" The final dome was lifted, revealing the centerpiece, perfectly cooked ribeye steaks, the marbled meat glistening under the lights. "And our main course, beef from cattle raised on the finest pastures of Argentina," Kevin announced proudly. Milan, the junior Xendari scientist, emitted a high-pitched whine that made several humans cover their ears. Its translator crackled. "You raise predators as food. You farm death-bringers." The room fell silent. Gloria turned to Dr. Nathan Cole, the xenobiologist, with panic in her eyes. "Cattle aren't predators," Nathan whispered urgently. "They're herbivores." Zortek's mandibles clicked rapidly. "These creatures have teeth for tearing flesh, yes. Eyes forward for hunting. They could kill if needed." Nathan hesitated. "Well, technically bulls can be dangerous, but they are apex creatures in your world that you have subjected to your will," Zortek's translator conveyed. "And now you consume them to absorb their strength." The Xendari delegation began backing toward the exit. Their carefully controlled movements had given way to what looked like barely restrained panic. "Please," Gloria said, stepping forward with hands raised. "There seems to be a misunderstanding." But it was too late. The translator on Zortek's thorax emitted one final message before the aliens retreated from the hall. "We did not know we had contacted a world of super predators who feed on hunters. We must reassess." As the door closed behind the aliens, Chef Kevin turned to Gloria with a bewildered expression. "Was it something I said?" Alarm lights flashed in the corridor as Security Chief Laura Peterson sprinted toward the emergency meeting room. It was 2 a.m., barely 4 hours since the disastrous welcome reception. "Status report," she demanded, bursting through the door. Inside, a bleary-eyed crisis team hunched around the conference table. Screens on the wall showed the Xendari ship, now hovering 50 feet above its landing pad, power systems fully active. Secretary General Eric Martinez looked up from his tablet. "They've recalled all their personnel from our facility and raised their ship into a defensive posture. They're not leaving orbit, but they're not talking to us either." Communications Officer Patricia Wells frantically typed at her station. "I've tried all channels. They're receiving our signals but not responding. All because of a dinner menu." Laura asked, dropping into an empty chair. Dr. Nathan Cole, his xenobiology reference materials spread across the table, shook his head. It's much deeper than that. We completely misunderstood their evolutionary psychology. He pulled up a holographic display showing the Sendari homeworld ecosystem. Look at their planet's biological development. Their species evolved from herd grazers with no natural predators. Their equivalent of Earth's predators are entirely plant-based. Nothing in their evolutionary history eats other hunters. Ambassador Gloria Sanchez, still in her formal attire from the reception, looked devastated. So when we served them predatory animals, we essentially announced ourselves as monsters, Nathan confirmed. In their conceptual framework, a species that hunts, kills, and eats predators would be like demons from their worst nightmares. Patricia's computer beeped. We're getting something. Text only. The message appeared on the main screen. We require explanation for ritual consumption of hunter species. Is this dominance display intended as threat? Gloria moved to the communication station. Let me respond. We need to fix this immediately. Her fingers flew across the keyboard. No threat intended. Humans evolved as omnivores. Consuming various species, including predators, is part of our natural biology, not a dominance display toward your delegation. The room fell silent as they waited. After 3 tense minutes, a reply appeared. Your species consumes hunters by biological necessity. Not exactly necessity, Nathan murmured. More like preference and cultural tradition. Don't tell them that. Laura hissed. They already think we're monsters. Gloria typed carefully. Our evolutionary history as both gatherers and hunters shaped our dietary practices. Many humans choose plant-based diets. Those who consume animal protein do so based on cultural traditions and nutritional considerations, not aggression or threat displays. The wait for a response seemed endless. Secretary Martinez paced the room while scientists reviewed Sendari cultural files, looking for anything that might help repair the damage. Finally, Patricia's terminal chimed. They want to speak with Dr. Cole. Video channel. All eyes turned to Nathan, who swallowed hard. Me? Why? You're our xenobiologist, Gloria said. They probably want scientific explanation, not diplomatic platitudes. Nathan straightened his rumpled lab coat. Patched them through. The wall screen flickered, revealing Zortek and 2 other Xendari in what appeared to be their ship's command center. Dr. Cole, the alien's translator conveyed, your species consumes creatures that hunt and kill. This behavior is unknown in our evolutionary history. We must understand. Do humans consider themselves apex super predators? Nathan took a deep breath. Ambassador Zortek, humans evolved alongside predators, not separate from them. We learned to hunt as a survival strategy. Our consumption of predatory species isn't meant as aggression. It's a reflection of our place within Earth's complex food web. Zortek's compound eyes seemed to study Nathan intensely. You claim this behavior is not intended to terrify non-predator species such as ourselves. Absolutely not, Nathan assured them. We had no idea our normal dining practices would be disturbing to you. Had we known, we would have prepared differently. After a brief conferral with the other aliens, Zortek responded, we require further evidence that humans are not threat displaying. We will send a new cultural liaison to assess. The screen went dark, leaving the crisis team looking at each other with cautious relief. Well, Martine sighed. At least they're still talking to us. And now, Gloria added grimly, we need to figure out how to convince them we're not the galaxy's nightmare predators. Junior cultural observer Milan moved through the Xendari ship's biogardens, seeking calm among the familiar vegetation. The events at the human reception had disturbed her deeply. As the youngest member of the delegation, she had been chosen for her adaptability to new ideas, but nothing in her training had prepared her for what she'd witnessed. Milan, the council awaits your report, called a voice from behind her. She turned to see Senior Science Officer Vexnor approaching. His exoskeleton showed the green tinge of advanced age. "I'm still processing the data," she admitted. "The humans are difficult to categorize." Vexnor gestured toward the communication chamber. "The elders are most concerned. Your direct observations will help determine our next actions." Milan followed reluctantly. Inside the circular chamber, holographic projections of the 7 council elders waited, their forms slightly transparent but imposing nonetheless. Elder Vospa's image spoke first. "Junior observer, share what you witnessed among the humans." Milan touched her data pad, and scenes from the reception appeared in the center of the room. The elders clicked their mandibles in distress as the footage showed Chef Kevin proudly displaying the fish, prawns, and finally the beef. "These were not symbolic representations," Milan explained. "These were actual remains of predatory creatures, prepared for consumption." Elder Kirtal's hologram leaned forward, and the humans showed no shame in this display. "None," confirmed Milan. "They presented it as an honor. When I accessed their information networks, I discovered something even more disturbing." She displayed images from Earth's food production facilities, fishing boats hauling nets full of predatory fish, cattle ranches with thousands of large herbivores, processing plants for chicken and pork. "The humans have industrialized the cultivation of predator species," she continued. "They breed billions of potentially dangerous creatures solely for consumption." The council chamber filled with the rustling sound of agitation. "This suggests a level of dominance over other life forms we cannot comprehend," said Elder Vospa. "To control predators in such numbers." Milan hesitated before adding, "There's more. According to their information networks, humans were once prey species themselves, vulnerable to large predators. Over time, they not only survived but became hunters of the very creatures that once hunted them." She displayed cave paintings showing primitive humans hunting large animals, followed by modern images of trophy hunters posing with lions and bears. "They reversed their position in their planet's predator hierarchy," she explained, "and they celebrate this transformation through consumption rituals." Elder Kirtal's mandibles clicked rapidly. "Such evolutionary psychology suggests extreme aggression potential. If they consume predators, what might they do to peaceful species like ourselves?" Milan felt compelled to offer balance. "I've also found evidence suggesting complexity in their relationship with predator species. Many humans choose not to consume animals. Others dedicate their lives to protecting predators from extinction." She showed footage of conservation efforts, humans caring for injured wolves, releasing rehabilitated eagles, creating protected habitats for large cats. "Most puzzling," she added, "some humans keep miniature predators in their dwellings as companions." She displayed images of people cuddling cats and dogs. The council fell silent, processing this contradictory information. Finally, Elder Vospa spoke. "These humans appear to be a species of extremes, capable of both consuming predators and nurturing them. This duality makes them unpredictable and potentially dangerous." "What do you recommend, Junior Observer?" asked Elder Kirtal. "You have studied them directly." Milan considered carefully before answering. "I believe we should continue contact, but with caution. The humans appear genuinely unaware of how disturbing their behavior is to us. Their willingness to explain suggests they value communication over conflict." "And if you are wrong," pressed Vospa, "then we will have learned valuable information about a dangerous species," Milan replied. "But I sense no deception in their attempts to explain their biology and culture, only genuine confusion at our reaction." The council conferred among themselves before reaching a decision. "Very well," Elder Vospa announced. "We will send you back to them, Milan. Learn more about these predator consumers, but maintain emergency extraction protocols at all times." Rain pattered against the windows of the emergency planning room as the human team worked through their third straight day of crisis management. Coffee cups and food wrappers littered the tables, evidence of their round-the-clock efforts. "The exhilarating ship is still in orbit," Lieutenant Daniel Wright reported, pointing to the tracking screen. At least they haven't left the system. Gloria Sanchez rubbed her tired eyes. Small comfort. We've barely established communication, and we've already terrified them with a dinner menu. Dr. Nathan Cole looked up from his research tablet. I've been reviewing everything we have on Senderi culture. Their entire society is structured around harmony and cooperation. They evolved from herd species where mutual protection was essential for survival, which explains why predation concepts disturb them so deeply, added communications specialist Frank Rivera. Their world has predators, but nothing that eats other predators. The concept of a predator-eating species breaks their understanding of natural order. Samantha Miller, who had been quietly listening from the corner, suddenly straightened up. Wait, I have an idea. All eyes turned to the young lieutenant. What if we show them that humans aren't just predator consumers? What if we showcase our conservation efforts? How we work to protect endangered predator species? Nathan's expression brightened. That's brilliant, Samantha. We can demonstrate the complexity of our relationship with Earth's predators. Show them we respect and protect the same creatures we sometimes eat. Gloria mused. It might help them see us as more than just apex super predators. Frank was already typing on his tablet. I can compile footage from wildlife preservation projects, endangered species breeding programs, anti-poaching initiatives. And we should include material on human vegetarianism and veganism, added Nathan. Show them that many humans choose not to consume any animals. Gloria nodded decisively. Let's put together a presentation that shows the full complexity of humanity's relationship with Earth's ecosystem. Can we have something ready by morning? We'll work through the night if necessary, Frank promised. The team split into smaller groups, each tackling different aspects of the presentation. By dawn, they had assembled a comprehensive overview of humanity's environmental ethics and conservation efforts. When the Senderi finally agreed to another meeting, the humans were surprised to see that only Milan would be attending. I have been designated as risk assessment liaison, the young alien explained as it entered the conference room, keeping a noticeably greater distance from the humans than before. Gloria stepped forward, but remained far enough away to respect Milan's obvious discomfort. We appreciate your willingness to continue our dialogue. We've prepared some information that we hope will provide context for what you witnessed at the reception. Frank activated the wall screen, beginning with footage of marine biologists tagging and releasing great white sharks, forest rangers monitoring wolf populations, and international teams working to save tigers from extinction. Humans recognize the importance of all species in our ecosystems, Gloria explained as the footage played. We work to protect endangered predators and maintain natural balances. Milan's compound eyes followed the images with apparent fascination. Yet you also consume such creatures. This contradiction is difficult to process. Nathan stepped in. Our relationship with Earth's predators is complex. We admire their power and beauty, study their behaviors, and work to ensure their survival. And yes, some humans also consume certain predator species as part of our omnivorous diet. The presentation continued, showing wildlife sanctuaries, rehabilitation centers for injured predators, and global conservation agreements. Our history with Earth's predators includes fear, respect, competition, and coexistence, Gloria explained. Modern humans try to balance our needs with the health of our planet's ecosystems. As the presentation concluded, Milan remained silent for several moments, processing what it had seen. Your species contains contradictions we find difficult to reconcile, the alien finally said. You protect the very categories of life you consume. Samantha stepped forward. Is that so different from how you might protect plant species that you consume? Milan's mandibles clicked in what might have been surprise. An interesting comparison. Plants regrow. Predators must be replaced through reproduction. Yet both are living beings that play important roles in their ecosystems, Nathan pointed out. Milan seemed to consider this. I will share this information with my superiors. Your species remains concerning, but perhaps less incomprehensible than we initially believed. As the alien prepared to leave, it turned back with one final question. If you respect these creatures, why do you consume them? The humans exchanged glances, knowing their answer to this question could determine the future of interspecies relations. The question hung in the air like a physical presence. The human team exchanged nervous glances, recognizing this as a pivotal moment in human-Xendari relations. Dr. Nathan Cole stepped forward, his voice calm and measured. Milan, may I answer with a question first? In your culture, do you have any concepts that might seem contradictory to outsiders, but make perfect sense to Xendari? The alien's head tilted slightly, mandibles moving in what the humans had learned indicated contemplation. We have the ritual of selective pruning. We cultivate certain plants specifically to remove parts of them, causing controlled stress that promotes healthier growth. That's perfect, Nathan nodded enthusiastically. To an outside observer, it might seem cruel to harm plants you care for. But you understand it serves a greater purpose in your ecosystem, correct? Of course. The balance must be maintained, Milan replied. Nathan gestured to a chair. Would you sit with us? I believe I can explain our relationship with predator species in a way that might make sense. After a moment's hesitation, Milan carefully folded its long limbs and settled onto the specially designed seat. Nathan pulled up a holographic display showing Earth's evolutionary timeline. Unlike your species, which evolved from pure herbivores, humans developed from omnivorous primates. Our ancient ancestors were both prey and predators themselves. The display showed early humans hunting and gathering. Our bodies evolved to process both plant and animal nutrition. Our teeth, digestive systems, and brains developed in response to a mixed diet. Gloria added gently, just as your pruning rituals might seem contradictory to outsiders, but serve a purpose in your ecosystem, our consumption patterns reflect our evolutionary history rather than mindless aggression. Milan studied the evolutionary charts with obvious interest. Your species began as prey for larger predators. Yes, confirmed Nathan. For millions of years, our ancestors were hunted by larger carnivores. We developed tools and group hunting strategies as survival adaptations. The alien's translator hummed softly before conveying. So your consumption of predators is not a dominance display, but a biological continuation of survival strategies. Exactly, Samuel exclaimed, then lowered his voice when Gloria shot him a warning glance. Sorry, but yes, that's precisely it. Nathan continued. Many humans choose plant-based diets for ethical, environmental, or health reasons. Others maintain traditional omnivorous diets, but none of these choices are meant as aggression or threat displays toward other species. We eat what we eat because of our evolutionary history, not to frighten peaceful visitors, Patricia added with a smile. Milan was silent for nearly a minute, compound eyes shifting between the humans and the evolutionary display. Finally, the alien spoke. This is still disturbing to my people, but understanding it comes from biological imperatives rather than aggression is somewhat reassuring. The humans tried not to show too much relief, but Gloria couldn't suppress a small smile. Perhaps, Milan continued, we could establish a cultural exchange protocol, one that acknowledges fundamental biological differences while seeking common ground. We would welcome that, Gloria said warmly. Cultural understanding should go both ways. I am authorized to request information about your evolutionary path as well, Nathan added. We're genuinely curious about how your species developed. Milan's posture relaxed visibly. Our evolution followed a very different path. On our world, the greatest threats came from environmental extremes, not predation. We developed cooperative strategies rather than competitive ones. That sounds fascinating, Gloria said sincerely. Perhaps we could arrange a formal information exchange. Your biology, culture, and history for ours. I believe the Council would approve such an arrangement, Milan agreed, with appropriate safety protocols. As the meeting concluded, Milan paused at the door. One final query. These predators you consume, do they taste good? The question was so unexpected that Frank nearly choked on his coffee. Yes, Gloria answered honestly. Many humans find them delicious. How very strange, Milan remarked. I cannot imagine consuming anything that once had the capacity to hunt. But perhaps that is simply another biological difference between our kinds. As the alien departed, the humans exchanged cautious glances of hope. Do you think we've made progress? Samantha asked. Yes, Nathan replied. They're still disturbed by our eating habits, but at least now they don't think we're showing off our predatory dominance. Small steps, Gloria nodded. From dinner disaster to mutual understanding, we're getting there. The morning sun cast long shadows across the landing pad as the human delegation prepared to board the shuttle. After 3 weeks of careful negotiations, the exhilarating had finally invited a small team to visit their ship orbiting Earth. Gloria Sanchez adjusted her formal jacket nervously. Everyone remembered the protocols. No sudden movements, maintain larger personal space than feels natural, and absolutely no mention of Earth's food chain unless they bring it up first. Nathan Cole nodded, his excitement barely contained. I still can't believe they're letting us visit their vessel. No humans have ever been aboard an alien spacecraft before. Just don't mess it up, Patricia Wells whispered, checking her translator device one last time. We've worked too hard to get to this point. The small team of 5 humans entered the shuttle. Gloria, Nathan, Patricia, Frank, and Samantha. As the doors sealed and the engines hummed to life, they exchanged nervous glances. History in the making, Frank murmured as the shuttle lifted off. 20 minutes later, they docked with a massive exhilarating ship. The airlock cycled open to reveal Milan and 2 other aliens waiting to greet them. Welcome aboard the Harmony Seeker, Milan's translator conveyed. We have prepared appropriate environmental conditions for your comfort. The humans stepped onto the alien vessel, eyes wide as they took in the organic-looking corridors. The walls seemed almost alive, with subtle patterns flowing through them like slow-moving water. It's beautiful, Samantha breathed. Our ship incorporates living components that process air and regulate temperature, explained Milan. Much like your Earth's forests perform similar functions. As they moved deeper into the ship, the humans noticed something interesting. The exhilarating had carefully removed all imagery of Earth's predatory animals from their information displays. Instead, the screen showed Earth's landscapes, mountains, forests, oceans, and deserts. We have prepared a cultural exchange center, Milan explained, leading them into a large circular room. Here we can learn from each other without problematic imagery. Gloria understood immediately. You've created a neutral space where neither of us will be disturbed by the other's biological realities. Precisely, clicked Milan, mandibles moving in what the humans now recognized as approval. The Council of Elders has authorized me to show you this. A holographic display activated in the center of the room, showing the exhilarating homeworld, a beautiful planet with purple-tinged vegetation and vast, shallow seas. Our evolutionary path began here, Milan explained, showing images of small, grazing creatures that resembled a cross between insects and deer. Our ancestors developed in environments where cooperation improved survival rates. Predation was rare and primarily targeted the weakest individuals. Nathan watched, fascinated. So your species never needed to develop predatory adaptations or defenses against large predators. Correct. Our challenges came from environmental factors, seasonal changes, resource scarcity, and habitat shifts. We evolved intelligence to solve these problems collectively. The humans listened, asking questions and drawing parallels to Earth's evolutionary history. Hours passed as the 2 species shared their biological and cultural development. It's remarkable, Gloria observed during a break. 2 intelligent species with completely different evolutionary pressures, meeting across the stars. Zortek, who had joined them midway through the session, clicked thoughtfully. Indeed, though your predatory aspects remain disturbing to us, we begin to understand they are simply part of your evolutionary heritage, not a threat to peaceful species. And we appreciate how disorienting our carnivorous habits must seem to your people, Gloria replied. We'll continue to be mindful of this difference. As the first day of the exchange concluded, Zortek presented Gloria with a small device. This contains our proposed biological imperatives and cultural expressions protocol. It acknowledges that evolutionary paths create fundamental differences in how species perceive the world, while establishing guidelines for respectful interaction. Gloria accepted it with a formal bow. This may be the most important document in human history, the beginning of true interspecies understanding. As the humans prepared to return to Earth, Milan approached Nathan privately. My study of human culture suggests a question you might appreciate. How many Xenderi does it take to understand a human? Nathan laughed in surprise at the joke attempt. I don't know. How many? Milan's mandibles clicked in what might have been amusement. At least one willing to watch them eat dinner without fleeing in terror. As the shuttle departed, carrying the human delegation back to Earth, both species knew they had taken the first real steps toward understanding. Their biological differences were profound, their evolutionary paths divergent, but their shared curiosity about the universe had created a bridge between worlds. From dinner disaster to diplomatic breakthrough, humanity's journey to the stars had truly begun.